All right, we're live.
Jones throws, passes, caught, Shepard, touchdown.
Guys get down the field as much as they would like.
Now they do. Pass is deep and caught by Hightower. Makes a move, and he's down inside the 15. Big play when the Eagles needed it most. 59 yards to John Hightower, the rookie. That's a season long.
And he beats Lewis, who got called just a minute ago. Lewis gets caught looking in the backfield. He just...
Wentz throws, passes, caught. What a beautiful play as Ward is in. And then getting up and drawing a flag is Mondre Harper. That'll be a touchdown and then a penalty against the Giants.
He just motions all the way across and he outflanks everybody. And it's just a matter of Carson Wentz putting it on him, which he does. That's a great job. I mean, they didn't hardly take any time off the clock.
It's a little bit tougher. Wentz throws, passes, caught! Touchdown, Boston Scott! Jones in trouble, ball's knocked out by Graham. And recovered by Philadelphia. Is that going to win the ball game? Graham knocked it out. Vinny Curry recovered it. And that defensive front steps up.
Oh, all righty. Your first place Philadelphia Eagles, 2-4-1. They come away. They come down. They win the game 22-21. Carson Wentz, he did struggle, especially the second half. The offense struggled. They went down the field.
Talk about the negatives right now. We just came back in a fourth quarter.
Exactly.
Football game. Let's talk about the positives about this football team. Like you said,
what I was getting into. They go down the field. They score. The defense gets the stop. They go back down the field. That wonderful pass. That pass to Boston Scott had the vision that Monday night to Corey Clement. Almost like same exact play. It was beautiful. They get the W. I know it's a win's a win.
Hey, a win is a win. We are in first place. I've been drinking because that's what this team needs to do. I was about to start this show off with saying, when does the Sixers season start? But you know what? We're in first place. At the end of a season, you do not worry about how you won. You worry about what your final record is. And right now we're in first place. It was an ugly game. There's a lot of positives, a lot of negatives. We got lots of comments already flying in live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, on the All About the Birds networks, the Heat Ratio networks, the Last Out networks. Drop your comments. We'll try to
share, retweet,
share, like, retweet, do it all.
But talk about heart beating, heart pounding, just one of those games. This season seems to be one of the.
Well, it looked promising. I would say that opening drive, I would say it was a thing of beauty. I would say they go down the field, up tempo, they're moving the football, balanced offensive attack. They're able to punch in the end zone early. You thought it was going to start off well or it was going to end well, but I would say like we said, they started struggling. They scored on their first two possessions, going up 10-7, and then it was Doug. Execution, whatever about. For some reason, with this football team, they can never put four quarters of football together. But luckily, I would say for them, they were able to come down and come back. And they're facing the Giants. They're facing a crappy football team. So luckily for them.
But honestly, are we much better? We're still a pretty crappy football team, too.
No, we're a bad football team. There's no denying that, but we're not. I didn't feel we were as bad as the Giants. I would say we beat ourselves. I would say the only reason this game was as close as it was and for us to come back in this game is because we beat ourselves. We allowed Daniel Jones to be the leading rusher to scamper off for an 80-yard run, and he somehow trips up on himself not to get in the end zone. Granted, it still got in the end zone eventually, but you look at our red zone efficiency, I kind of felt that's what almost cost us this football game. We are 3 for 7 in the red zone. A turnover by Carson Wentz, another interception leading the league with his 10th or 11th interception. They get stopped on 4th down. And what the hell is up with Jake Elliott? I know we're trying to stay positive, but what the hell is up with our kicker? A guy that used to be so automatic. He had a tremendous season the Super Bowl year, and I tried defending him last week. I know a couple of our listeners criticized him for missing that field goal in Pittsburgh and a tough atmosphere at Heinz Field, and then missing a field goal last week, but you can't miss a 29 freaking yarder in your own goddamn freaking home field.
Since 2017 or 18, he hasn't even been that great of a kicker. He's the most overpaid kicker there is in the league, and unfortunately, a lot of people have pointed out his contract means we're not going to cut him anytime soon. But what I want to talk about, we won. I want to be positive and all, but you brought up the opening drive, how up-tempo we went. And I tweeted out like a dozen times tonight, we did not go back to up-tempo till the final 5 minutes of the game when we had no choice but to do it. You know, Doug Peterson's calls on 4th down, his calls on the 2-point conversion, we won. And, yes, we're going to have to talk about all these negatives even though we won, because Doug Peterson tomorrow morning should be giving up play calling duties because he has no idea what he's doing. He is so lost. He may be able to take them back, but he's lost all confidence whatsoever on them. And he is actually one of the top 2 or 3 reasons and things that are holding this team back right now. His play calling ability right now is absolutely atrocious. And it's just probably, it may frustrate me more than Nathan Geary on defense right now.
Yeah, but that's understandable. I understand your point there. My big thing with Wentz, and it just feels like when they get in that 2-minute, I'm not saying do it all game, but it seems like he's more comfortable to be able to, run that quick. Just the way he looked those last 2 drives, just his comfortability with that, and his almost like he was calm doing that, all these different plays. And I understand that, they don't have the weapons that you want to have out there. And they let the Giants come back in the game. He had that interception in the red zone. They missed that field goal. They went for it on 4th and goal. They
almost screwed themselves at the end there. That freaking face call or the face mask that when they were 1st and goal in the 2 or 3 yard line, but pushed them back 15 yards. If it wasn't for a tremendous play by Carson Wentz stepping up in the pocket to avoid the pressure, realizing the mismatch with Boston Scott on Jabril Peppers 1-on-1 down the field, we might not be talking about a victory right now.
It was a hell of a throw from a great quarterback who carried this team at the end there. He had a lot of bad moments after that first drive until the final 5 minutes of the game. But a great quarterback finds a way to win, and he did that tonight.
Are we back on hashtag Wentz is elite?
No.
No, you can't say it.
I'm not allowed to say it anymore. Not allowed to say it. So,
But looking at Wentz's numbers, 25 of 43, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, 91.1 rating. He had a great game, his best game of the season in terms of numbers wise. And I understand he struggled a little bit in the middle of that game, but for him to come back and what he did, he's not playing like he did the first couple games of the year. He's playing a lot better the last couple games of the year. And they didn't have Carson Wentz, they wouldn't be anywhere close. I understand they're 2-4-1, but with the players that they have right now playing.
Yeah, a lot of it's personnel that is going thrown out on that field, and also a lot of it's the schemes, offensively and defensively. I would say Wentz has been playing out of his mind the last couple of weeks. Grant, he hasn't played perfect. The interception was a bad throw. He was taking a lot of sacks. There were a couple moments that you were just wondering what the hell was he doing, but I would say I can't deny the guy's heart, his determination to bring this team back, and no matter what situation they're in. I would say the last 3 weeks, they won this week, the 2 games before against a good Ravens team and a good Steelers team. He helped put them in position. So right now, I know this team's in shambles. You can't blame Wentz for the last couple of weeks for what this team has done.
And the one thing with Wentz that I want to bring up is, he played and he had some bad moments tonight, but the offensive line and how well, considering how great of defensive lines they went up with, the last 3 weeks, Mailata, all these guys played half decent against top tier guys. Then they came in tonight against a really bad Giants defense, and they all played like trash. So Wentz was getting hit again 10 times more than you would have expected against a subpar defense. And he was still able to hang in there, make the throws when necessary. Yes, he still needs to throw the ball away at certain times. I just think Wentz not throwing the ball away is just like Michael Vick not sliding, or, Donovan McNabb throwing to the ground. It's just who he is. He's 28 years old almost. He's not going to change that aspect of his game at this point. So we have to accept that part of it for the good, which is him making those, clutch throws at the end of football games.
Well, the thing with the Giants defense, I'm not going to call them horrible. They have a bunch of former first-round picks. Blake Martinez, Kyler Fackrell, Marcus Golden. Had over 10 sacks the last 2 seasons. They're not awful.
They're not the Ravens, they're not the Steelers. And the fact that our offensive line played against – I think what Phil was trying to get is he's not calling the Giants a bad defense.
But compared to the Ravens and Steelers and 49ers.
And those pass rushes, the fact that they're able to hold their own, and especially Mailata and a lot of these guys, granted, Lane Johnson got hurt in the game, late in the game.
Again, a knee injury.
They moved people around prior to what? They had Herbig at left guard or right guard?
Right guard.
Right guard, and they moved prior to left guard or whoever it was. So I'll say there was a bunch of little changing of the offensive line, which I'll say, like we keep on saying, that's the problem, I'll say, with the offensive line. Granted, the some of the talent that they have isn't that great, but the continuity, the fact that they keep on taking guys in and out, I think they're not their 13th offensive lineman that played or started this season. So you don't expect that. Go ahead.
There's no continuity. That's the issue. And you take away, because Mailata and Herbig are playing next to each other. Yeah, Lane Johnson's playing right tackle to start the game, and then you move Herbig over to right guard. Then you put Sua Opeta, who hasn't played in a game or hasn't started a game in his NFL career. You put him, to start at left guard. And what Chip's saying here, the communication between the two, you could see there was missed assignments. And
they're not used to playing next to one another.
No, and then Lane Johnson gets hurt. He gets hurt. He goes out. He comes back in. He gets hurt. He goes out. And then you have Matt Pryor playing right tackle because Driscoll's not in. He's out. So it's just there's and then Deshaun Jackson gets hurt after he gets the punt, goes to the ground, and the guy just happens to land on him awkwardly, and he gets his leg caught up underneath him. And
on a cheap shot, by the way, that was a bad
it was.
Play there. And you know what? He actually made it through the game healthy for the most part, and he was making an impact in the game. And you were only going to put him as a punt returner for the end of the game in a key moment like that. And you know what? And he got hurt, and that was really frustrating. What's up, Mike? Make sure you're on time for work tomorrow. The guy that was late, Jeff, that caused so much problems today.
But the thing is, Hightower had that huge grab, that huge 59-yard catch, and then that really helped get them into the groove of things, being down 11 points, having that big play, being able to score quickly, and then being able to stop the Giants. But time and time again, I know we bash him because he doesn't have the greatest of stats, and
this season
no, not him. I'm talking going to get into someone talking about Greg Ward. Has some very, very key catches, very key plays. I understand shouldn't be your leading receiver, but he's a hell of a route runner, and he's a hell of a fourth option on a healthy team. He's earned his spot in the things that he's doing, but all out.
He's had one decent game. I would say don't go too overboard. I would say he's still going to be this leading slot receiver for us. He's still going to be one of Wentz's reliable targets and one of his security blankets. There's no denying that, but I'll say Fulgham's still playing out of his mind. Fulgham, and I'll say they were able to get Deshaun early, which I'll say that's the one thing we haven't seen from this offense. With Deshaun back, we expected a little bit more deep balls. We expected a little bit more big plays, and I say we're not seeing any of that. And I say I get it that the offensive line is not giving Wentz a lot of time, but the fact that they really didn't do any of that, it just kind of shocked me a little bit. Usually Peterson tries to get Deshaun involved a little bit more, especially with his speed and the deep ball. And before he got hurt, I would say we didn't see really any of that. So that's the one thing this offense is missing. I would say they're missing that big play ability. They're able to score points somewhat, or when they're able to move the football down the field. But when you need that big play, they haven't shown them being able to do that this season.
And the one thing they missed, watching this, and the announcers talked about it, how the Giants were the way they had their safeties and the middle of the field was open. That's where you miss a guy like Goddard and a guy like Ertz. I understand Richard Rodgers had a decent game, 6 catches, 85 yards, but he's not of the caliber of those guys. And the thing is, the running game just really wasn't existent at all. I know Boston Scott had 12 carries, 46 yards, a couple decent runs towards the end of the game there. But
they got behind. I'll say once they got behind, I would say that's when Peterson does not run the football. Granted, I was saying, plus like you said, that front seven, especially those linebackers, the Giants have shown to be a decent pass rushing defense. So I'm not surprised.
Why are you running the few times you do run Boston Scott? Why must you continually? And he did the same thing with Darren Sproles with no success in the previous few years. Why are you going to continue running a tiny little running back up the middle on on video games they used to call them H-back dives? Why are you doing that? That's not the kind of guy you want to run up the middle. And they just keep doing that over and over again and getting nowhere with it. It's wasted plays.
And yeah, right. It seems like the running backs are too small. Like Corey Clement is just a special teamer. He's really
Corey Clement is awful. I've said it before. He is not a good running back. He had a great Super Bowl, and we all love him because of the Super Bowl, and I will always love him for that. Big catch he had in the Super Bowl. But the guy just can't play football as a running back. Yes, special teams maybe, but outside of that, he needs to be off the field.
Well, yeah, he had 2 carries for 9 yards, and then he had 1 reception for 12 yards and I think a first down. So I would say not much production from your second-string running back when Miles Sanders is out. Hell, even Jason Huntley had more rushing yards than freaking Clement.
Huntley's
he actually looked
kid.
Good on his few runs. He had a little burst.
He had 2 runs. He had 2 carries for 13 yards, and he had a 1 run. The one big run was for 10 yards. So he picked up a first down on the 1 run, which I would say I'd rather use him than Corey Clement. I understand Corey Clement is a little bit more of a pass catcher than Huntley, especially with them being down and passing as much as they were. But get Huntley on the damn field. I would say he's a young talent. He's hungry for the reps. He's hungry for the playing time. Give him the damn opportunity. Like we keep on saying, get some of these young guys involved. If Miles Sanders is going to be out for some period of time, Boston Scott being your star back, I'll say Huntley can be that backup to take some of those carries away from Clement, because like you said, Clement's just freaking garbage.
I kind of want to bring up a question here, as this question is get rid of the Hurts plays. There's no line and everyone sees it's coming. So I'm a big idea. I've been saying all week, use Hurts more. He should have gotten 12, 15, times on the field. And he was on the field a little bit more than normal this week. But Marty Mornhinweg, who is a special assistant to the offense of whatever his title is, used Lamar Jackson his rookie year really effectively. Is Hurts not really that good, or are they not really diving into what they should be using him to be effective? Because I see Hurts that he could actually make an impact on offense, but the plays that they're using him in are so, as as he says here on this comment, they see it coming. And that's something that, I'm not sure where to feel on this one here. What do you guys think of how they're using him? Are they using him wrong, or are they not using them at the right times, or should they just stop using them?
I feel it's a little bit of both. I would say it's a little bit. I would say people are realizing when he's in there what the Eagles are trying to do. I feel the Eagles do not believe in his throwing ability just yet. I would say that I feel they still need to groom, because every time he's in there, he's not throwing the football. Because I think he
had the one throw last week, and that was it.
And didn't he have one today where he threw it away or threw it out of the back of the end zone or something like that?
Yeah, on the 2-point conversion.
So they're just basically relying on him as a decoy and a guy that's going to try to pick up the yards on the ground. I would say the one thing out of college was he was not a very accurate thrower, and I feel in certain situations they don't want to risk him turning the football over by throwing the football. So it's either run or throw it away at this point, because right now, I just don't feel they feel comfortable with him, and that's why you're not seeing a lot of these big plays. Like when Vic was here, when Vic and McNabb were on the field, Andy let Vic throw the football. They knew what they had with Vic and his throwing ability. Where Hurts is a rookie.
Hold on. I just want to interrupt you there for a second. Not an accurate quarterback. In 2018, with his junior year, he was a 72% 72% completion, and a 70% completion his senior year at Oklahoma. So he can complete the
was
passes.
dump-offs. I would say if you watched his games, I would say most of that
I
was.
loved him. I thought he was a great college quarterback.
He's a decent college quarterback, but when it comes to the NFL, I would say I don't know. I just feel that they don't feel he's ready yet. Otherwise, you would see him throw the football a little bit more, or maybe he doesn't believe in himself. Maybe the plays aren't there. I don't know.
That's what I think it is. I don't think they're using him in the right plays and the right formations and the right calls there. Again, we talked about it in the pregame show. Him in the backfield with Wentz, not one or the other at a wide receiver position. Was he in the backfield with Wentz once tonight? I didn't see him once in the backfield with Wentz.
No.
So that's where the defense will be thrown off guard when that is what's used. But they haven't used it once other than last week's game.
And with Hurts I think a lot of it, the plays that they're running for him, they're designed to be a run, the option. It's not really designed to be a pass play. And I don't know if they're not using that yet, or they just don't want to show that at some point. I think you'll see it more. I'm not saying it's going to be this year, because who knows if they're going to have a big lead this year. Using it, maybe trying it out when they have a bigger lead to kind of do something. But when the game's close, if he winds up making a crucial mistake and throwing an interception, or getting sacked and fumbled, just different things. But it really doesn't matter what he does. Carson Wentz is your guy, but I understand putting that wrinkle in and being able to show the defense, especially when you don't have many playmakers with all these injuries you have, with everyone missing, you can maybe throw something in there. But like Jeff said, a lot of it was dump offs and everything. But if you're using him as a run or something like that, the middle of the field should be open for him to dump it off to. So I think it's something that he can do, and it's something that they can use him to be that. I'm not saying a focal point in those type of plays, but it's definitely something I think he needs to get more touches. And what you said, Phil.
Well, he needs more touches. He needs more effective touches. I'll say Doug, like I agree with Phil. Doug needs to be more involved in this offense, because every time Jalen Hurts is out there, defense is caught on. I would say after that Steelers game, I would say people have caught on they're either running with him or he's a decoy. Those are the only two things that the Eagles have done with Jalen Hurts this year. And I would say usually when he's on the field, they have a guy spying him or on him or something. I would say occasionally Hurts is going to break off for a couple yards here, there, or a first down, but you haven't seen that big play yet. And like Phil's brought up, it's the play calling. If Peterson's going to put him out there, he needs to find effective ways to put his players.
Well, he has the effective play. Like, he has a voice. Marty Morningweg, and I'm not trying to bash Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson is a really, effective quarterback at this point in his career. But they're not using him anywhere near the way they used that Marty used Lamar Jackson in Baltimore's rookie year. Yeah. Doug Peterson, is he even asking Marty Morningweg? Did he even want Marty Morningweg here right now? I mean, that's something that we could delve into on a future episode and all. But that's, an asset right there, Marty. And I was not a big Marty Morningweg fan when he was here in the past. But his success with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they should be tapping into that so much more right now. And they're not. And it's clear as day, because Hurts is pretty similar at this point in his career as Lamar Jackson was in his rookie year. So
why not use him on like a 3rd and 1? Why not put Hurts back there? I understand they try and run with Wentz,
because when you put him out there on 3rd and 1, it's obvious what you're trying to do.
Yeah, but like on those 2-point calls or anything like that, you know what they're going to try to do.
Exactly. When Lamar started to become effective his rookie year, what they were doing, and they talked about it, I think, on the broadcast, or maybe I saw somebody talking about it on Twitter tonight. They were giving Lamar Jackson like whole drives. He was out there with Joe Flacco and Flacco off the field. He was out there 7-8 plays in a row. So then all of a sudden, play 1 or 2, you might know what he's doing, but by play 4 or 5, you don't know what's happening. So you mentioned that him out there for more consistent plays in a row. And I don't want the ball taken out of Carson Wentz's hands. He's the quarterback. He's the guy that's going to lead us if we ever make it to the playoffs, or what's going to happen the rest of this year. But if you want to take advantage of that weapon while all the other, weapons are hurt, you need to get him some momentum. And by doing that, you need to put him out there 3-4 plays in a row where the defense now all of a sudden doesn't know what's going to happen. How many times have we said, put him in shotgun with Carson Wentz, and they did not do it this week? So, they're missing out on a huge aspect there.
But, I want to touch a little bit on the defensive side of the ball.
A little bit.
The one thing that I saw you posted too, about Nate Gary. He seems to be pretty good at blitzing. He can't really do much of anything else, but I think Schwartz did a lot of blitzing. I liked what he did. I like how he maneuvered different things. The stand-up guys, this guy coming here, cornerback coming off the edge here. They got pressure. I understand they had, the Golden Tate touchdown, and then you had a couple different plays. You had the Evan Ingram.
But sucks. I'll say
I want to talk about that Tate touchdown before we get to the Gary.
Yeah, LeBlanc should not even be on the freaking field.
LeBlanc and Nicole Roby-Coleman had awful, awful football games tonight. And they just showed why they were available and why they were not, LeBlanc was what? A practice squad guy for how long before he broke through because of injuries last year? Nicole Roby-Coleman was not picked up by anybody else. We could have spent – how much money is Coleman making this year, compared to Logan Ryan? We could have gotten a better slot guy by spending a few bucks more on Logan Ryan. And we talked about Logan Ryan in the offseason. So that Tate touchdown just proved, along with a bunch of other plays, that our secondary outside of Slay is atrocious.
I'll say Austin Plotz brings up a good point. I'll say with Schwartz. I'll say that touchdown. I'll say there's a difference between Darius Slay not needing help and LeBlanc needing help. I'll say he totally with that. Daniel Jones did a great job realizing the mismatch with no safety help over the top with LeBlanc on Golden Tate. So I would say
it's not like Golden Tate is Randy Moss or Jerry Rice. Golden Tate's Golden Tate. Golden Tate didn't get on the field last year with the Eagles when we traded for him.
I agree. He still has some speed, though, and I'll say it just brings up the point that LeBlanc should not be one-on-one without any safety help and man-to-man coverage at all.
Everybody loves Cravion LeBlanc for some reason, and I've never once – you check my profiles on – I've never once praised him at all. The guy is not that good, and everybody loves him because he makes a big play here or there or whatever, but he's not a good cornerback. And it's amplified tonight when people like – Golden Tate just, rob him of the ball.
Well, the Daniel Jones run, I don't know if you guys took a look at that. If you watch Nicole Roby-Coleman, he starts running and then he just gives up.
I didn't write notes, but I made a mental note about that. It's not even that. Before he gave up running, when he was still being blocked by, I forget which wide receiver was on him. I don't know if it was Shepard or Slayton, but you actually see him not even try to get off. It was a half-hearted block on him, and he just literally, if somebody's good with videos, look at that video and edit it for us. He literally just stands there and just watches him run by, and then when he tries to catch up and he can't catch up, he's like, whatever. And that really, really turned me off on him tonight.
The other guy I want to talk about is Javon Hargrave.
Do you even want to bring him up?
Do we need to? Was he on the stat sheet tonight? I don't have the stats up right now.
Let me look.
I can look.
Stat sheet.
2 tackles.
Oh, he had 2 tackles today. Well, that's a step forward for him.
2 tackles, 1 solo tackle.
It's not good. I don't know what happened there with him. Whether he's still hurt from the off season or what, but he's not playing like the man we paid him to be.
Yeah, Fletcher Cox did have a good game. He was in the backfield a lot. I know,
and he had a good game last week, so he's turning the corner, which is good.
He had 4 tackles, 2 for loss. So I'll say he was making plays.
And Brandon Graham is 6 sacks now. He got 1 sack tonight, the strip sack at the end of the game.
Sealing it.
And Derek Barnett seems to be showing up. I know he's playing against.
It's really sad when Javon Hargrave is one of your highest paid guys, but the poorest performing guy on your defensive line.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if he's not 100%. I know he had a pec injury, and I just don't know. But, Josh Sweat showed up. And
you go for it, Jeff.
I'm sorry. You were going through the comments. But
back to what you tried to start with, and we kind of went off subject. Nathan Geary blitzing. Nathan Geary should not be out there every play. I think we all agree on that. He's not an every down linebacker.
How about Alex Singleton?
Alex Singleton may be an every down linebacker. We've learned a little bit there. But to Nathan Geary and that point there, he had a nice blitz there. He does okay in run defense. Nathan Geary is a spot guy. And you see that tonight where he actually didn't look awful because he made one or two solid plays. He just should not be out there for the 100% of the snaps, or last week, 94%. He needs to be out there 30, 40, 50% in spot moments where his best assets can be utilized, blitzing or on guaranteed straight run plays where he's not covering tight ends or running backs.
The one thing with Gary, I know we give him a lot of crap. I would say his awareness and his coverage skills are crap, but he's been our leading tackler this year. The one thing the dude can do is tackle the ball carrier. I would say he had 8 tackles today, 4 solo. He had a sack, a tackle for loss, and he had a quarterback hit. So
using him again, that comes down to your coaching and utilizing your talent in the right spots and in the right ways. And they're not using the little bit of talent that Nathan Geary has. They're not utilizing it correctly. Singleton, I did notice on one point, and I don't know if it was the whole game or not, but I noticed one point where he was actually the mic guy and he was calling the plays on defense. And that is something I want to see more of. I don't want to see Nathan Geary, the leader of that defense. Singleton should be that leader, at least maybe as long as it's not Nathan Geary. He at least showed some leadership skills on that defense tonight.
Yeah, he had that key huge blitz up the middle that plowed
that was great.
Freeman
over. Great moment there for him.
Because he was second in tied for second in tackles with McLeod with 6 tackles. 5 of them were solo tackles and 2 quarterback hits. He's not a great player, but he's starting to get a feel for things, and I think he needs to get a lot more. And he's starting to get more playing time each game. And I know he played in the CFL, so he's still learning everything in terms of the NFL and everything there. But he looks like he has potential, and I like the way he plays the game. A hard nose, just watching him blitz up the middle and just barrel over the line. It gave me those flashbacks. I'm not saying it's Trot, but of a type of linebacker that's going to just punch somebody in the face. Running back's trying to block you, just bowl them over. It's just we haven't had that kind of linebacker in a couple of years.
Andrew, to answer your question, never.
That is true.
At least this season, we could say, when does any coach on our team put anybody in the right spot? If it isn't for Wentz being a clutch quarterback and a couple of his players making clutch catches at different moments, this team has been a failure over the last couple of years. So, our coaching staff really has to be questioned big time. I know we won, and I don't want to be negative. I want the power of positivity. But, it's really hard when the New York Football Giants, what's the final score? 22-21, 23-21? I mean, yeah, that's not what you expect out of a team that we all expected to contend for the division, contend in the playoffs. That's not what you expect. And that comes down on coaching, player development, roster development, whatever you want to call it.
Same year, I would say I think it might be time to answer your question, but they're not going to release Elliott. I would say I don't know who's even available for kicking, and I would say with the salary that they just gave him with that extension, I would say there's crazier things that happened, but I would say at this point in the season, unfortunately they're not moving on with Jake Elliott, which is why I think you're going to see Doug Peterson to be a little bit more aggressive than he's been and going for a little bit more on 4th down and going for the 2-point conversions a little bit more. So I would say I feel he's lost faith in Elliott, which is not what you want from a kick from your kicker.
And it's unfortunate because his contract is what's keeping him on the team at this point.
Yeah.
And I know we're cap strapped, and if you cut certain players, Alshon or whatever, the cap, is a big hit. When you take a cap hit on your kicker, that's a problem.
I think it's
Rob must not have been paying attention because I'm a huge Wentz guy.
Yeah, he's criticizing the coaching and the decision making by the coaches. So
Wentz, the only reason why we won this game is because of Carson Wentz. and his clutch throws at the right moments there. So yeah.
Well,
Never bash my love for Carson Wentz.
Besides the no elite.
Yeah, I'm not. What did you say? Because I don't know that word anymore.
He's not using it, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm not using it till the offseason again.
To touch quickly on Elliott, you cut him this year. I think you have to eat $2.3 million, and then next year you have to eat another 3-point-something million.
Yeah.
So it's really
I heard something like $5 million or $6 million overall. Yeah. So yeah, you're not going to cut a kicker when you have to eat six. And that again rolls back to your GM giving your kicker that big of a guarantee.
Yeah, I'll say that not this year. Maybe in the offseason they draft a kicker or bring someone in for competition or something, an undrafted guy. But this season you're going with Elliott, unfortunately. But I would say to answer Andrew, I would say even if they make the playoffs, there's a lot of changes that have to be made. I would say there's no denying that. I would say we keep on bringing that up, and that's why I would say what's going to happen with the Eagles in the next couple of weeks with the trade deadline looming. I would say, are they going to trade some of their assets? The fact that they're first place in the NFC East right now. Who do they move on from? I know there was a report that came out from Albert Breer before today's game that they did try to move Zach Ertz prior to him getting injured, and they also, I say, took calls on him, and they're still trying to move Alshon. But unfortunately, with these contracts and these aging players, you're not going to get a lot of compensation. So unless the Eagles are willing to bite the bullet on some of these guys, I say you don't see a lot of. I don't see a lot of big moves heading to the trade deadline.
You talk about trades. Deshaun was actually playing really well tonight, and you could have probably moved him before that punt return tonight. Yeah. But now we don't know. I don't know if anybody watching the show, if you've heard anything about what's up with Deshaun's injury, let us know. But Deshaun, actually showed that he's still a very capable, serious weapon tonight. And unfortunately, that last, punt return there may have, taken him out for a really long period of time.
And I'll say, and McCants, they drafted Elliott in the 5th round, 4th round. So every once in a while,
draft him.
I thought they did draft him.
No, Cincinnati drafted him, and then
Cincinnati drafted him. Yep.
Okay, even so, every once in a while you do.
Letting Johnny upstage you on a stat or something like that. That's not good.
I can't remember every single freaking draft pick in our history.
Jeff lets me do the draft stuff.
Johnny is the drafting college guy, not us.
But I'll say every once in a while you do see a kicker. I'm not saying draft him in the 3rd or 4th round, but I'll say, I would say a kicker, your last pick in the 7th round, or a compensation pick, or like I said, they'll pick up someone as a free agent. I'll say they need some competition because obviously Elliott is struggling. They lost faith in him. They need to do something, and it's not going to be this year. So I'll say going to the future, if they want to move on from him and find that kicker in the future, they're going to have to do something this offseason. It's basically what I was getting at.
They did try out a CFL's leading kicker last year. So I don't know. It was just, I guess they said it was just for COVID protocols, just to have someone.
You know what? It's escaping my mind right now. What was the U.S. women's soccer player from Philly that wanted to try out for the NFL? Might as well put her out there because she might have more confidence. What's her name? She went to Villanova.
I forget it.
Carrie Lloyd.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Carrie Lloyd, local product. She wants a chance in the NFL. She can't do any worse than what Jake Elliott's doing right now.
But thinking about like the injuries with Deshaun, who knows how long he's going to be out because that didn't look the greatest because he was really in pain.
Dude, healthy. They unfortunately, Deshaun, he was been a great player here, but he's past his prime. He showed he can't stay healthy. Yeah, they got him involved early. He was making nice catches, but
don't say he can't stay healthy because he stayed healthy through this game, and it was a cheap shot.
It was
that took him out of the game.
But before this game, even so, I would say I
just don't want you to blame this game's injury on him. That was a bad shot.
I'm talking about
they were basically cheap shotting him there.
I'm talking about his return as a whole since they brought him back last year.
That's true. I got you. I just want to make sure that our listeners know what you're saying there.
Gotcha. My biggest issue too is with Lane Johnson now as a knee injury, and my question is if he had an ankle issue in terms of surgery, how come he didn't get it done in January, February, March, and he waited all that time, all the way until August, middle of August, to get something done?
Time. I would say he has a John Runyon mentality. Unless his leg is broken, he wants to go out there and play football. He doesn't care how injured he is. And I would say if he can play at 50 or 60%, he wants to be out there. I would say he has that, like I said, that John Runyon played like his entire career hurt. So it's one of those things. I would say he has to realize, though. I understand what you're trying to say. He needs to realize what is best for the football team. And I would say, do we want a 50% Lane Johnson, or do we want 100% Matt Pryor, whoever the hell is that right tackle?
Lane Johnson should have sat out tonight and next week against the Cowboys and taken that full 2 or 3 weeks off because they're winnable games. Lane Johnson not healthy tonight didn't help us or hurt us. If he would have sat out tonight, the results could have pretty much been the same. You let him sit those couple games so that when we get to the post-bye, schedule, he's 100% healthy. But offensive linemen, like you said, Jeff, a lot of offensive linemen don't have that mentality. It's just the mentality that they have. And it's unfortunate because, now he might be out longer or he may never be healthy for the whole season or for the rest of the season at this point.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that Miguel just had before here about Avonte Maddox, I didn't really see him until the end of the game, until the very last drive. I'm not sure if you guys.
Maddox didn't play tonight.
Yeah, he was out in the last drive, number 29. I saw him on the last drive. That was it.
He was inactive tonight.
Yeah, he was inactive, I thought.
I don't know if you're watching. Were you watching highlights from another game? Because he was inactive tonight.
No, I'm telling you. I'll go back and look at the.
No, he was out there, dude.
Was he?
Yeah, he had one tackle.
I mean, I tweeted too many times to pull up the inactive list.
I thought he was inactive as well, but I would say Craig James was out there, Avonte Maddox was out there, Will Parks, Marcus Epps. So
yeah, so I saw him out there. I'm like, I didn't see him that much during the game, but
I don't feel they targeted him that much, but it doesn't matter. I would say Avonte Maddox, LeBlanc, Craig James. Unfortunately, our secondary is bad. And I was saying
Maddox was out tonight. I don't remember seeing. Yeah, Maddox is not playing. We got multiple people saying Maddox was not playing. Yeah,
he was out there. He's on the stat sheet.
I don't know. I'm looking at ESPN stat sheet, the box score right now, and for some they have you go on ESPN.com right now under the stat sheet. They have Avonte Maddox having a tackle. Let me check the Eagles' Twitter real quick. I'll say
I've got the inactives. He was not on the inactive list. I was wrong on that. He was not because the inactives were Sudfeld, Jeffrey, Sanders, Wallace, Driscoll, Watkins, and Jackson. So
yeah,
he did dress.
He might not have been much because of the injury. They probably had limited snaps for him, but he apparently was out there.
Yeah, he must have been dressed now. Yeah.
But it's just something I saw at the end of the game, and I was just like, I didn't see him all game. And if he was healthy, you want him. I'm not sure how healthy it is, but you'd rather have him out on the outside than Nicole Roby-Coleman. So that's just my feeling on that. But
I'm jumping through a bunch of comments, but we got a comment at the bottom of the screen that it's a hamstring issue for Deshaun Jackson. So we'll have to see what
I'll say usually a hamstring injury for him keeps him out freaking 3 weeks.
3 weeks, like 13 weeks.
Well, yeah, I would say, and not be at 100%. So at this point, if he's healthy, great, but go with the guys that we have. I would say we should be getting Jalen Reagor hopefully back soon, hopefully after the bye week. I would say Fulgham continues to be a main target for Wentz. Greg Ward, I would say, is being reliable as the slot receiver. And I would say if Hightower can learn to adjust his body and play the ball in the air and come down with it instead of trying to catch it with his arm or his body, well, I feel he can be a guy that can make plays as well. So
I want to say something because there was a big play there on one of the last 2 drives there from Greg Ward. He ran an out pattern. I don't remember if it was 3rd down or 2nd down. It was a huge play, and I really saw something from Greg. It wasn't even the touchdown that made my mind on Greg Ward. Just something just clicked. Greg Ward had a good game tonight. The stat sheet does not show him as a huge like major factor, but something in Greg Ward tonight, in my mind, I know I've bashed Greg Ward a lot, in the offseason. But he showed me some grit tonight. And I really was impressed with his game tonight. Yeah, he doesn't get the separation. I still will say that. He still is not a speed demon. He's an awful punt returner. But the guy makes plays. And when Carson Wentz throws him the ball in clutch moments, he does not drop the ball. That was a really tough catch. Whatever play I'm thinking of, if somebody wants to help me remember that one. But he made a really tough catch on the out pattern there. And it was a big deal to me.
Yeah. Well, see, And I agree with you. I would say he had a decent game, 5 catches, 42 yards, a touchdown. Like you said, nothing flashy, but efficient, got the job done. I would say he was targeted 6 times. So 5 catches on 6 targets. Yeah. I would say that's what you want from your receivers. You want them to be able to catch the football.
Again, I bashed him, but he is a great number 3 or 4 receiver. He shouldn't be your number 1 guy. And going into the season, he was our number 1 guy. And that's what I was criticizing, throughout the offseason. Because of the injuries, he was going to be our top guy. But as a 3 or a 4 on a team, he is definitely earning my respect in the last couple of weeks, and especially tonight.
And the comp I have for him, like thinking about receivers, like who does he kind of compare to? A player that I can compare him to is Danny Amendola. It's the same thing. He's
maybe visually he appears smaller than Amendola, but he's got that same mentality, and he doesn't have the concussion issue that Amendola has either.
Yeah. So it's just something the one you were playing, like he rolled out and he threw it, and basically I don't know if he was sliding and he caught it and then rolled and got the first down, but it was a key play.
It wasn't a touchdown, as someone said earlier there in the comments.
No, it wasn't a touchdown.
The touchdown was a great catch. Don't get me wrong. But the play for the first down earlier before that touchdown was the one that caught my mind. And yeah, like I said, I always will admit when I'm wrong, but I just want to clarify that I wasn't saying that he wasn't a good receiver. He just wasn't a number 1 receiver. But the guy, as you said, Jeff, he made 5 catches out of 6 targets. The guy catches everything thrown to him. And there needs to be a tip of the hat to that, because he always makes the plays when he's needed.
I'll say whoever our follower is, Jimi Hendrix, is asking, do we win next week? I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but big pivotal game next week against the Dallas Cowboys, which we'll address next Wednesday. We'll be live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, 9:15 start on All About the Birds live show. So we'll address that a little bit more, but early thoughts as one of our questions. I'll say right now, after this game, after the Giants, I know we all felt that this was going to possibly or close to it be at least a double-digit victory for the Eagles, and we should be able to handle them pretty easily, the Giants pretty easily. Have your thoughts changed a little bit heading into next week with Dallas in this big game?
No, I think we still win next week.
Yeah, I think they still win.
I don't want to give away too much before next week's show. Yeah,
we'll dive into it.
But the Giants and the Cowboys are just as bad as the Eagles. Anybody can win any of those games.
Yeah, and Dallas's offensive line is just as beat up as the Eagles, so
that I don't care what Antonio Cromartie came out and said today, saying that Andy Dalton is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. He can shove it up.
You had to bring it up.
Why did you even bring that up? Because he doesn't even know what his 17 kids' names are and which women birthed each one of those kids. So do we need to go that detailed into him? That was a bad comment from a guy that no one should pay attention to for football, anything. So, yeah, no, the Eagles can still, just as much as we thought they could win. What was that?
My wife. She said,
I didn't know if you were doing that to Cromartie.
No.
Schwartz or your wife, who knows?
Or to us, I don't know. Man.
Yeah, I mean, he could be doing it to us too, yeah.
No, not you
guys. I want to throw a couple thanks out. I want to thank Last Out Media, Heat Ratio Sports, and Athletes Hub. We always say it every live that we have, but I always want to just thank the people that support us and everything like that. And I also want to throw out tomorrow night, it's going to be Phil's fantasy show. Usually it's Thursday nights.
We're looking at about 9:15ish tomorrow. We're still playing it. I do own a pizza shop, and it is a Friday night. So as soon as I get out of the shop tomorrow night, we're going to do the show. So 9:15ish, we'll be doing our fantasy show and gambling show tomorrow. Lost more money gambling tonight, so.
So if I would say if you need some fantasy help, I would say we're about midway through the season. I would say if your fantasy team's in shambles, make sure to follow All About the Birds, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. To follow his show and all our future shows. We are live for post game after every game. So I would say if you're enjoying the comments, enjoying our interaction and our thoughts, make sure to follow that. I would say more support, the better. The more following, the better. Tell your friends, tell your family. If you have Eagles fans, football fans, whatever, just spread the word. And I would say make sure to check out aetbirds.com for all all our writers' content. I'll say Chip, one of our new writers, already has his thoughts and grades on today's Eagles victory as they beat the Giants 22-21.
And if you want to join the All About the Birds team, hit any three of us up. We'd love to add more great people to our network and to our team because we're just trying to build this. I mean, just the other day, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, we had over 2,200 views on our website. That is something we've never done before. Last week we had over 10,000 views on our videos. We're trying to build a team here, and we would love to have anybody that's interested in joining our team hit us up, and we'll see if we can, work you into our team here.
And I just want to thank everyone that's listening, everybody that's watching, commenting, sharing, retweeting, everything, just because your support helps us grow. We're not really anything without our listeners, followers, everything there. So
we're nobodies. We're
Exactly.
nobodies, So we're just trying to have some fun and put our passion out there. So, we appreciate it all.
But, like I said, we thank everybody. You can follow me at JohnnyU9322. You can follow Phil at Beard of Knowledge. You can follow Jeff at Jeff Warner NFL. You can follow All About the Birds at AAT Birds, and also all of our wives. They do help with doing some. I know Jen, which is Jeff's wife, helps with the website. Basically, runs the whole website. So my wife does some of the different pictures and stuff that we put up and everything.
My wife doesn't even watch. She just lets the dog out, so I could do this.
She's waiting. She's waiting for her,
She wants me to or us to make so much money so that she could just adopt more dogs.
It's not a bad plan, though.
It's not, Philly Bully. It's a great, rescue in Philadelphia. I'll shout them out. We just adopted, a couple weeks ago, Old Man Al, and we're looking at a few other of their, dogs that need to be rescued. If you're interested in supporting a rescue, the Philly Bully team does a great job.
Andrew, I would say you're saying you have things going on. That's fine. I would say because you can catch any of our shows on our Facebook page. It's usually up there as a post after we go live, as well as I would say all our shows are on Spotify and any major podcasting platforms and at aatbirds.com. So if you miss any of our shows or any of our insights, make sure to check out those platforms. You can listen to any of our shows anytime. So
yeah, and with that, the way we always end the show, just give a good old go Birds.
Go Birds.
First place.
First place.